I'll quickly go over that again. What are we going to do today? We're going to look at the data that we've prepared, only a little bit because we've only got an hour session and I want lots of questions. And I want to make sure my AI at work, yes, thanks, Paul. I want to make sure there's enough room for questions and what we've done. So we've surveyed around 300 to 400 contractors here in New Zealand. We have interviewed around 30 recruiter agencies for recruiters here in New Zealand, and we've interviewed over 200 globally. So we've done a lot of pre-work for our launching company, which is Necta. Obviously, we'll go into a little bit later, but also just to get an idea of what's going on in the market. I've been a contractor for 20 years. Ever since I left school, I've been temping and contracting ever since. And we get the confusion between consulting and contracting. Consultancy is all about the outcome you achieve. Contracting is really about the hours you provide. Today, we're talking about mostly the contractor market, our labor market, that sort of thing. So if we're all good, thanks, Tim. All good to start over. Hopefully that does capture you. I think you're about 40 seconds behind by the lag of LinkedIn, but hopefully I'll go slow enough that we can go through that. So I'll share my screen and we can get into the future of contracting. So future of independent contracting. And I've got an agenda for us to go through. It is brief. We've only got an hour. It's lunchtime. I hope you have your coffees because I got my coffee. And I have tried to twist it slightly for the audience who said they were going to come today. So I had a look at your titles, I saw you're mostly technology based. There's a lot of agile coaches, there's a lot of project managers, a lot of business analysts, and a lot of developers. So I kind of situated around those areas. But it's contracting, independent contractors is a much wider element than our industries. There's a lot of hospital, medical field, administration, finance. We've got the gig economy coming up, talk about it a little bit later. Lots of things going on. So what are we going to do with the agenda? We're going to go through current trends, and only a small amount of current trends, and feel free to ask questions. I have a whole heap of research that I didn't put into this presentation, but you can ask about it. Natalia didn't make me the coffee. Yeah, I made my own coffee, thank you, Paul. We've got a lovely machine here. Paul thinks it's a terrible machine. Tell him that this is a great machine. Look at that coffee, it's beautiful, just saying. Anyway, current trends, near-term changes, far-term changes. Obviously, the further out we go, the less we're going to know. But we're starting to see some very good data. And then preparation, or what can we do here in New Zealand to prepare ourselves for the future? Make sense? Cool, whole bunch of laughing. Awesome, I love it. So, current trends. We're going to go through two major factors here. One, the numbers, and two, the government. And you'll see why the government is so important of independent contractors in the future. Now, I know I've got about 20% on the live stream that are in the recruitment industry. You guys know how important the government is in our industry. So feel free to ask questions about what I found as an outsider looking in as well. So how many are there of us? Now, NZ Stats says there are 5% of us who are independent contractors. And that seems like quite a small amount, and globally it's a very small amount. And so globally it's around 15% of independent contractors. Here we're only at 5%, so 1 in 20. I've got to stop reading the comments now. But in technology and administration, of where most of my network is, it's 14%. So we're ahead of the trend, we're catching up with the global market, but it's still only 14%. Yeah, but it's quite a lot of us, right? So for those who are thinking of going contracting, this would be good for you. People who are already contracting for a long time, you understand the cycles, right? You know those cycles. It's ebbs and flows between rates and supply and demand. Now, looking at the numbers of government, 19% of the FTEs are contractors. And that's why I'm saying the government is a big draw card for what independent contractors are doing and not doing. And of course, two big agencies for those is MB, which is the All of Government Panel, and you've got the IRD. We'll briefly touch on those two and what things I'm seeing coming up. and maybe you guys ask some questions on what you think is coming up as well. Now, McKinsey in 2020, they did the study before COVID really hit, surveyed the global executives, and they said contractors are on the rise, and they are. So before 2018, 2016, 2016 they were going down, so we're going to this trend towards having permanent employees, and in 2018 it was on the rise again. We had the opposite here in New Zealand, but around the world, contractors have been on the rise since 2018. Why? Think about it. You've got CapEx projects that you only require a certain amount for. You want dynamic people that can come in and get the job done and then leave. In New Zealand, though, we do treat them a little bit differently compared to the rest of the world. Around the rest of the world, certain places in North America treat them quite, I would say, badly, personally, from what I see from the research. In Europe, though, treated very well because they're brought in for a job and then they go somewhere else. McKinsey said that 30% of FTE will be independent contractors. This is in 2020. So this was before we had COVID. COVID accelerated the entirety of what was happening. People got to work from home and they realized their job is not really floating their bubble. And that's part of the, I guess, what we want here at Necta and at Surge is we want people to get out of bed and love what they do. Right? So my personal mission is to reduce suicides through connecting people with valuable and inspiring work. That's kind of what I get up every day and do. So COVID accelerated that. And that's why 2020, things changed. Now, a lot of contractors talk about pay. So I did a bit of pay disparity for you. So analyze the chart for a little bit. It's good fun. The percentage of disparity is the percentage difference between the permanent salaries and the contractor salaries. So in other words, what kind of premium do you get being a contractor? And therefore, how long can you be out for as a contractor? I did 4 roles, because I had the data on these 4 roles over the last 5 years. And you can see that there's some quite dramatic changes around the COVID time. Permanent wages have gone up quite dramatically since COVID because we've had a labor shortage. And but different roles do different things. So this is an interesting one to screenshot personally. There you go, that screenshot. Okay, cool. Agile coaches was a kind of new role. It's been around for 20 years, but it's a new role. So it had a real massive premium on contracting. And that's been decreasing ever since COVID. Project management's been quite flat. Some good pay rises in the last, in 2019 of contractors, but permanent wages have been going up since. And full stack developers had a massive spike during COVID. The reason why, I think they were paid quite low, to be fair. $70, no, Tim, it's not dollars per hour, it's premium. So you earn 70% more as a contractor compared to permanent wages. So as you can see, full stack developers got a massive jump during COVID, and that's because we needed to quickly adapt technologically. And there was a real high demand, low supply of decent developers. And now we have a massive shortage. So I know right now we need full stack developers, React developers, AI developers. We at Necta need developers and we can't find any. So there's a great demand there. Explain what you mean by disparity in this context. So disparity is the difference between the permanent and the contractor salary taken at 1,832 hours. So giving you your holidays, giving you your standard time off, and a percentage accuracy on leave, so sick leave, maternity leave, that kind of thing. So even though people say, oh, I can get $100,000 and I can get $100 an hour, it's not quite times 2 because you still have to have holidays, you still have sick leave. Most of the government shuts down for 3 weeks. So we've calculated it as your maximum capacity at that rate. And we have taken a rough guideline. So senior agile coach, senior business analyst, some full stack developer with 6-7 years experience, project manager, with 5 to 7 years experience. So we have taken a baseline. It does waver, and the recruiters in the chat are probably going, this is, really accurate. It is. It's much we can do for a chart. But as you can see, overall, The average is 78%. So you will earn a 78% premium as a contractor compared to a permanent employee. We're also seeing turnover increasing, and this is twofold. One, people are jumping ship more often. And it's not quite, it's $5 an hour more, so therefore you jump ship. It is literally because you're not being treated as well as you want to be. There's more exciting projects. Contracts are going on too long. For those who've been in this cycle, you remember the times when it was a 2-3 year contract. That's a long contract. So we're seeing those cycles decrease quite dramatically now. I would be very surprised in the next 2 years that you don't have the average go down to 7 months. I think that's going to be the average very shortly. Whereas a lot of you have been contracting for sort of 10 years, you'll remember the 3-year programs, the 4-year programs. You'll remember you wouldn't accept a contract less than a year. I've always accepted contracts at 3-6 months because it's fun. That's me. I like 3-month contracts. But they're gone and they probably won't come back. And it's probably due to the IRD, to be honest. And I'll get to that in a second. But we're seeing turnover increase. So people are wanting to increase. Employers are just getting rid of the contractors and then rehiring them back at twice the rate, and all kinds of funny business happening at the moment. But overall, still a 78% average pay disparity. I do see that decreasing just a little bit, just FYI. Sorry about the color coordination here. I did this last night and I did look great on my laptop, but here not so much. So what feedback have we got from contractors? And the questions I ask is, do you feel like you are treated better, worse, or the same as permanent staff members? And this is what we're getting back. So 60% of you said to me that you feel like you're getting treated worse as a contractor compared to a permanent staff member. Now, some of you may go, well, that makes total sense. I'm a contractor. I've heard the term dirty contractor so many times. I think even I've used it. Overseas, especially in North America, they're realizing that you need to treat your contractors better. They are the ones who have reached a certain point in their career. They can come in, do a job and leave, and they're extremely valuable. But we treat them almost like resources, FTEs, as Cheryl, the agile coach in Wellington, would say to me, don't use the term FTE or HR because it's degrading, and it a little bit is degrading, to be fair. We're seeing 34.34% of you thinks the same. There's some really good companies out there who do treat you the same. I will completely agree with that. 6% of you thought it was better. I'm not sure. I've never had better, but I'm subjective, right? But that's the data. Some of you think it's better. But what are the reasons why you think it was less than? Benefits. So many companies I'm seeing allow their permanent staff members to work from home, but not the contractors. And then they're wondering why they're having problems hiring independent contractors. You shouldn't give bonuses to contractors, of course not. You shouldn't give extra holidays, of course not. But other benefits I've seen are discounts, staff lunches. I worked for a bank that was really good. We got the same discount on staff lunches, and I was surprised. Oh, it's really cool. So that's the kind of thing you see. Resources, yeah. Work from home, we've already mentioned. It's almost strange to me that they're saying contractors must work in the office. Like I must watch them, I don't trust them. That's strange, and that's why you're getting that massive turnover now, right? And lastly, health and safety. Now, I was for those that don't know, I'm actually counsellor Michael Law as well, the Wanganui District Council, and we went through the health and safety training yesterday, and I found that quite eye-opening. I knew independent contractors were part of health and safety, but I didn't know to which degree. And from the WorkSafe law point of view, it doesn't matter if you are MSD has hired a vendor who hires a recruiter, who hires a contractor, who subcontracts. Okay, MSD is held accountable for that health and safety. It is in their sphere of influence, and they must keep that up. So when I saw that on the list last night, I thought I'd bring that up. health and safety, mental health and safety, how you are being treated, anti-bullying, diversity and inclusion. These are all things that absolutely you are protected under the work safety laws. So raise that. Just because you're a contractor does not mean that you should be treated unfairly. Interesting, I've heard hiring managers say, but we need to give more benefits to perm staff to encourage them to stay perm. Samantha, great point. Really is a great point. I've heard that time and time again. And it's under the impression that permanent is more important than contract. Now, from a team dynamic point of view, we do want long-term teams. It does make more sense. But what is the ratio of perm to contractors that makes sense for your organization? For a lot of organizations, you do not want 100% permanent. You need certain things to be done. You need skills to be brought in. And to be honest, with the labor market, you want to bring those people in. And the way you bring them in is having the same benefits, treating them the same. There should almost be no, if I go in as a contractor, let's say I'm in Ministry of Education, I'm in as a contractor, no one should know I'm a contractor. I shouldn't be segregated from a team dynamics point of view. My productivity would be detrimental to the program. I should be the same as everybody else if you want to see the same outcomes. So I agree. It's something that's said, Samantha, for quite a lot. Too late, Mikey, voting is over. Yes, Mikey's voting. This will continue on, by the way. If we get more people, I'll may even do an update next year. But I've been gathering this now all through COVID. So there's probably a little bit of a bias towards COVID. But that's kind of the numbers, right? The next part I want to have more of a discussion about. So you guys tell me what's happening. So I've been saying this for, Tim will probably remember. I've been saying that Tim's the head of delivery at Surge. We've been saying this for a long time. The IRD, who is an employee? But we've had the Uber legal now, right? Uber employees are employees. How I read the employment law, how most people would look at the employment law, independent contractors are forms of employees, okay? They have the same rights and needs as employees. They're protected under the employers. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. And that's why I'm saying that a lot of the government changes around independent contractors is going to cause some ripple effects. So what is an employee? How do you pay them? Who covers what? What are the insurances? Because at the moment, let's say, for instance, you are a contractor and you're going through Parker Bridge, right? So kia ora, Jack, one of my favorite recruiters out there. You're going through Parker Bridge. You're technically working for Parker Bridge. That's how it works. And a lot of contractors forget that. You are working for Parker Bridge and you're being contracted into, I don't know, ASB, right? ASB is hiring Parker Bridge and Parker Bridge is hiring you. Now, where does the employee sit? ID cards usually state you're a contractor of a different color. Oh, Andy, great point, by the way. I don't have one here. At my desk at home, I've got all my old cards and it says contractor, as in, or a different color, as in I'm less than. Yeah, I agree, Andy. It's kind of bad, isn't it? But who is an employee? I think the rules are going to change over the coming years. We know there's some big programs going on at IRD. We don't know what they are. I know what one is, but I can't say live. We know there's programs going on at IRD. What is that going to mean for independent contractors? How will it affect the recruiters? Because you guys are going to get impacted way more than us independent contractors. But more importantly, whose responsibility is it health and safety? Whose responsibility is it going to be for the pay? How does that impact plus GST, minus GST? And then how does that impact wages? So keep an eye out for that. So that's going to be a very interesting side. Now, withholding tax came in a couple of years ago. Now, I don't know if you're new to contracting, you may not know this, but that only came in a few years ago and it caused us a lot of difficulties. I'm still getting accountants ringing me saying, why is this agile coach on withholding tax? And I explain this is the reason why, and they said that doesn't make any sense. I said, no, it doesn't make any sense. But almost every recruiter out there, and even us consultancies, we've had to just toe the line I said, right, everyone gets withholding tax. If you want 0%, you've got to apply for it. And it's just a difficult process to apply for. A couple of us at Surge have got it, but it's a difficult process. And this is really back to the other point, who's an employee? It's finding out really who is an employee versus who is an independent contractor who dictates their own hours, says what they're going to do, brings their own tools. And for those who are friends in the UK, you've got the IR35. I think it's IR35. The IR35 is basically putting everyone on a fixed term. That's just what's happening, right? So you've got this inside the IR35, outside the IR35, and it effectively means that you're on fixed term. And of course, everyone wants to make things easy for themselves. So companies just say, right, everyone's inside the IR35, therefore we're all going to be fixed term contractors from now on. So there's no more taxes, no more expenses for you. You still got to pay premium, but what is that pay premium? You can't split your income anymore. For those who split your income, no more splitting your income. So that's the first step. Withholding tax was the first step, and I'm sure everyone's watching with prying eyes how the UK is handling the IR35. And last of all, max term contract. I don't mind admitting this. I got audited 8 years ago, somewhere around that. And one of the things that she said to me, I always remember this conversation, was, why was my contract more than 1 year? And I said, oh, that's just, the contract got renewed. It's totally fine. It's normal. And she said, more than a year, you should have been a fixed term contractor. And I always remember that. And this was like a long time ago. Now, the IRD does actually recommend that anyone longer than a year should have been hired full time. It's very interesting. It's not really, I know some companies have a 2-year policy, some have a 3-year policy, some have a 1-year policy. I don't think government's come together and actually made this call, but I think they will, especially this next term election. I think you'll find they'll make the call. There's a cutoff time. Contractors can't be in a single company for more than 1 year. I think that's coming. And I think we need to be prepared for that. For those who are still getting those 2-3 year contracts, I have friends who are still contracting in the same place 6 years later. So I think it's going to stop in government, which means it will stop in private sector as well. It is actually on the IRD website about what is an independent contractor. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Any comments on that? Now we are lagging 40 seconds. I'll wait a little bit, but I'll carry on at the same time. Yeah, carry on. All right, I'll wait for questions to come in. Questions on IRD, I'll go back. The other big change at the moment is the all of government procurement. Now, version 1 of the tranche 3, I think it's called, because we're an all government consultancy, I saw the gets come up and I read all the documentation on Andy, do renewals count? Yes. That's what's interesting. Renewals count. You have hired them for that period of time. What's interesting though is there is a legitimate excuse to say you thought the project would only be 6 months and it's carried on. And I think that's how people go around this 1 year rule at the moment, but I think it's going to be, much tighter in the future. I mean, the near future. I'm already seeing it happening. I'm already seeing people not getting contract extensions, and I see more of this going to happen. But as you'll find out in a minute, I think it's not going to be a problem because most of us are going to want shorter-term contracts very shortly. So that should be fine. So all the government procurement panel came up, and it was a complete change, I thought it was kind of awesome. For those who follow me on LinkedIn, you'll know that I actually promoted it. It was kind of cool. The government currently spends $147 million on recruitment fees. But it wasn't really an attack on recruiters, because remember, recruiters themselves only get 20 to 30% commission. It was an attack on the industry and to bring costs down and to make things more streamlined. But what I thought was really interesting was the 1 year clause, wanting to have less fees after 1 year, which was interesting. And they made me think about that. It's changed since. It's changed since, it's gone back a little bit, but I still see some trends out of this. It's worth mentioning to you guys, for those who are independent contractors. Sergey says, good luck to the government with 1 year, attracting people, keeping IP for longer projects. Yeah, that's the thing. I always remember my first mentor for projects. They said to me, to be a good contractor, Michael, you embed yourself, make yourself indispensable, and keep the IP. And I don't do that personally. That's probably why I only have 3-month contracts. But yeah, a lot of people do. And it's very difficult to get rid of those contractors because they're the only ones that know how it works. So yeah, I think it's gonna be very interesting to how that moves on over time. Could this be the solution? No. Everything I've seen in all the government technology departments, in lots of you saying it, says that this is coming. An all the government technology company restriction database, however you put it, some way of doing it. So this say Jack from Parker Bridge puts you in MOE. Cool. Jack gets paid. Parker Bridge gets paid. You get paid. But then the all government panel offers you to move to MSD. They've done it themselves now, and you're on the database. This is happening in, I think it's Finland and Norway. It's trying to happen in UK currently. And once you've got somebody on your database, you then have that database. You don't need the recruiters. And also, you probably don't need the independent contractor element to it. You can make them fixed term. Whether or not you want that, it's up to you. You need to decide that. But that is something I see coming very quickly in the next 3 years. Is it a benefit to us? Could be. Could be. It's not always negatives, guys. We've got to remember that. It's not always a negative thing. If I could move between governments easily, I probably would. I'm currently available, right? And I have to go on Seek and apply for jobs, and we'll get to that problematic in a minute. And I have to do all these things, and it's very annoying. I would love if MB rang me up and said, hey, Mike, Ministry of Children, next week. That'd be nice. So personal things, right? Who would take it, who wouldn't take it? So over the last few years, we've looked at the pain points. And we've got sort of 5 main ones here. There was about 12 of interest, personally. 26% of you said complicated tax regulations. Either stop you going contracting, or you didn't want to be a contractor anymore, or you're a contractor and you find it annoying. You pay $2.5 grand a year for an accountant. Now, I'm gonna be blunt. If you're an independent contractor, your accounts are easy. They really are easy. Like, a number of you use spreadsheets. Over half of you I surveyed have spreadsheets. Yep, Paul, you're completely correct. Business analysis as a service, project management as a service, technology as a service, software as a service. That is the future. We'll get to that in a minute. Paul's jumping ahead, I think. Or he's analyzing where I'm talking about and is going straight there. 26% of you find tax regulations confusing. Withholding tax, provisional tax, GST, IR3, IR4. I'm an ex-accountant, so I kind of get it. But I must admit, even me, I'm like, this is getting stupid. Have you seen the IR3 forms now? We were replicating one, so we're going to automate IR3, just saying. We are looking at IR3, and it was pages and pages of just stuff that made no sense to independent contractors. So yeah, it's built for everybody, whereas our industry is very simple. Money in, money out, some assets. It's very simple. Cutting the waffle. No, you're getting an hour of my waffle, Paul. You get the good stuff at the end. 69% of you said the application process was appalling. Again, I totally get that. Think about it. Now, there are some really good recruiters out there. I've met 3 or 4 in Wellington who I love to bits. For instance, Jack, I've mentioned before, Steve Wozniak, I've worked with you guys. You guys are awesome. You're loyal. You keep us informed, etc. There's more out there, sorry, but I also don't want to mention everybody, but there's not much loyalty now. We bounce around. We go on Seek. We use these nonsense CVs. We upload them. We pray. And yeah, it's a long process. It takes about 3 to 6 weeks to get a contract. It's, let alone the fact that it can be pushed back even further than that. And we're meant to be independent contractors. We're meant to be like, want a buy button. Just buy me, book me. On Surge, we have a booking system. People can just book me. They can literally scan the QR code at my office here and book me for half a day. That's how simple it should be. Planning a holiday, 54% of you found that very annoying. I get that. I know a holiday ages. Ages, actually. Probably because of COVID. But yeah, planning holiday is annoying. You get a 6-month contract, so you plan the holiday on that 7th month, right? We've all done that. And then it gets cancelled after 4 months. It's like, okay, well, I can't wait to my holiday, can't be able to pay for 3 months, so you get them a contract. Push your holiday back. I've met lots of people who push holidays back, only holiday nationwide because they can't plan it. So I get that. Work from home was huge. 82% of you. You just want some flexibility. You either work from home fully or you want to have a hybrid model, but you want that to be included in the system. I get that. Now, this one's not the 5th largest. I just want to bring it up. 16% of you are already thinking about multi-engagements. And there's no system for that currently. You can't get multiple engagements. So I've had multiple engagements for the last few years. I can't tell a recruiter I have multiple engagements. They just, well, I'm being flamboyant, I guess. They'll just cut you. They wouldn't, even though you're doing 20 hours here and 10 hours here and 10 hours here, your CV needs to read one organization, one time. And what's interesting is the amount of contractors I hear who run businesses on the side, and then their employer gets grumpy about it. It's like, well, hang on a minute. Like, you only own me 40 hours a week. There's 160 in a week. I can work wherever I want to. There's 160. I work 80 hours a week. I love working 80 hours a week. It's just my thing. So who wants to provide me 80 hours a week? No one. So I do multiple. Some agencies are great. Others are just like, I'm not saying that word, clipping the ticket. Yeah, Andy, there's a real stretch. I remember one agency, I won't name and shame them because it's mean, but I remember them saying to me a couple of years ago, no, God, it was 10 years ago now. Michael, do you have any experience in requirement analysis? Like, I'm a business analyst with 8 years experience. Of course I've got experience in requirement elicitation, but they don't know that. They just left university, they had no idea, and they literally was just trying to tick some boxes and then put my CV in front of somebody. But there's some really good ones as well. Some really good ones who've been around the game for a long time. So yeah, I agree. Some major impact changes I want to talk about, right? CV, competition, global, and some gig economy stuff. And these are things that are coming from now to the future, right? Yeah, it's really cool. The CV is going to go, okay? So in New Zealand, we really are behind, okay? We're really behind on the whole CV thing. Some contractors just send me CVs sometimes being like, read this. Who reads it? Like, honestly, I don't read CVs. Like, I'll get 100 CVs through the door and I'm going to skim read, look for certain things I want. And then I'll take 5 and I may read them properly. Then I'll grab 2. It's a very long process. Overseas, they're not read at all. AI is already here. It's already working. And Kiwi CVs are not set up for AI. And if you want to see how your CV reads on an AI, join up to Necta. You go on Necta and press upload your CV, you'll see how a standard AI reads your CV and doesn't always work. If it's in a wrong format or location, it just doesn't work. There's nothing we can do about it. Like, we're using the latest Python AI-based scripts and we cannot fit Kiwi CVs. Australia's a little bit better. In America and Europe though, much better. they've all realized to get your CV read, it needs to be in a logical format, titles and scripts. Scripts need to read it properly. Tyler, CVs are dead. They're so dead. I'll show you why in a minute. I got, I think, 8 CVs. 8. Like, there's Michael Law, the leader, Michael Law, the BA, Michael Law, the PM, Michael Law, the agile coach. There's Michael Law, the senior agile coach. There's Michael Law, the consultant. Like, I have so many CVs. I have to decide which one I want to use. It's silly. And the reason why is because in New Zealand, they're already using AIs. So we were using Zoho Recruit for our consultancy, and we were finding that it was reading it pretty well. But I missed a whole bunch of good CVs, good people, because it just cut them off straight away. So you imagine a recruiter who's getting like a few hundred CVs through the door, you won't get read. It's looking for keywords. That's why your CVs need to be different. For each role you go for, your CV needs to be different. Your title needs to be different. Your job description needs to be different. Your skills need to be different. Everything needs to be different because it's not read holistically. It's read specific for the job that they've put on there. And diversity representation is really low. I mean, there's conscious bias, like blatant age discrimination. Someone very dear to me at the moment is getting age discrimination. She's 61. And she can't get a role. I mean, she was a CFO for crying out loud, and now she can't even get an admin role. Right? Age discrimination is massive. There's gender discrimination. There's ethnicity discrimination. It's CVs basically push discrimination from a conscious and unconscious bias. So unconscious bias, we've all got it. Yeah, Tim, I'm still seeing 5-page CVs. Oh gosh, please stop sending us 5-10-page CVs. No one reads them. I did a survey last year, for those who remember, and it was really funny. All the contractors were putting like 3 to 5 as their average CV size. All the managers, all the hiring managers were saying, I want 1 or 2 pages. And that was really compelling to us. It's like what people want versus what people are providing. So remember that. Diversity representation is going to be a big push for lots of agencies and lots of companies at the moment, and unconscious bias is huge. So unconscious bias is when you hire people based on you don't realize you're doing it. You just hire someone. I will hire a 35-year-old white male from Wanganui because that's who I am. I'll try not to, but I probably will. Whereas data, you can't push that away. So I'm saying CVs are dead. They're going to be gone. You'll upload a CV, but it's the data that's more important. And I like to say New Zealand jump forward. We are seeing competitors to Necta outside of New Zealand. There wasn't some last year, there are some now. IBM have got a really good one up and coming. A few C funds that are going on. Doing the same we're doing. Like upload your CV, so you never have to use CV ever again. The data is what's important. Yeah. Now competition is interesting, right? We're going to see way more contractors, way more, which means prices will go down relative to permanent. It's going to happen, okay? That's just a quick chart of the growth in other industries, and your skill sets can move to those industries. So remember that. Like I've been finance, sales, IT, executive strategy. Like I've been everywhere. A lot of you have only been technology, or have only been finance, or have only been this. And I'm telling you now, you're gonna jump ship. You're going to move completely. The reason why your technology is probably because the pay is the best. It's going to change. Pay is going to increase in other areas. Cross-functional networks of companies is on par now. So you've got companies that don't normally hire technology people. We're going to hire that skill set because they're doing something that requires that mindset. So this cross-pollination of skills is going to happen. It's going global. Guys, it's going global. I'm sorry. Both sides. I got friends now who are working in Singapore, UK. I got offered a job in UK. I thought, could I work at nighttime? Probably. Going to see the increased demand of those people doing us. We're already seeing ministries outsourcing to overseas companies. They're doing it via the vendor market, but they're still outsourcing. Entire teams are being outsourced overseas. Why? Because they're way cheaper. I'm sorry, they're way cheaper. New Zealand's still one of the highest paid technology contractor market in the world relative to living expenses. So yeah, sorry. Back to office will die. So you're probably seeing it. It's happening now. You've got to go back to the office, back to the office, back to the office. It's going to die again because perm contractors don't like it. Business cases are already been put forward to lower office space. We're realizing that you only require a certain amount of time as a team to get good team dynamics. So you don't require that all the time. Okay, so that's going to die. And 4 days is coming in. Right? You see the movement? It's coming. And if it comes, what happens? You're paid by the hour, right? Can you have 2 contracts? Maybe. That's interesting, right? So with 4 days incoming, your rate will not go up. Perm rates will go up. That's what I'm saying. It's going to catch up. Will this be a premium? It would have to be. Otherwise, what's the point? I doubt it would be 78% very shortly. And the far side of things I want to discuss on is the gig economy. This got slowed down a little bit during COVID, and it's picking up pace massively again now. So gig economy is outcome focused. So you get an outcome. You could have team-based contractors. Now, in this office, we've got 3 people, right? Between the 3 of us, we could deliver a program. We've got devs, BAs, project managers, the whole works, right? But we're all independent contractors, just working together in the same office, right? And that's what Surge's model was all about. Surge has 16 people at the moment, consultants working across agile delivery, across good business architecture, and we're able to basically create little teams that can deliver projects. So instead of hiring just one person here, you could hire a whole team. I think it's going to happen way more. I think in the next 10 years, we'll see friends who like working together. You hire little ninja teams. I think that's going to happen quite a bit more. You're going to have multiple clients. Now, how are you going to do all this, right? You can't just go to Seek and just press apply for multiple clients. You need an automated system for this. I just happened to have built one, funny enough. So today is our launch day of version 1.0 for Necta. So a little bit sales pitch. Why not? A little bit sales pitch. Technology led, okay? We will lead this technology revolution and we will benefit from it, okay? The main thing is, you've got to use it. Got to use it. According to HR Dive, 60% of us will be independent contractors by 2027. I mean, I think that's a little bit soon, but could happen. It really could happen. The way it's going right now, the way permanent employees are like, I want something different. I want to do this and this, a bit of that. I want to pick my kids up from school and work 4 hours a day. I want to work between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. I want to work on this project 1 month and this project another month. We know that's what humans want. Now, how do we connect all that? And that's what's going to be interesting. Any more questions on that? I'll let questions come in. I'm going to only go 10 minutes on this. So we launched Necta 1.0 today. We're about to push the button to actually push this code. I just wanted to show you some of the weird features we have. How are we solving these problems for you? And how are we helping the market? That's kind of where we're getting to, right? We know CVs are dead. So we've asked you to upload your CV. So you go to necta.nz and you can upload your CV. And we try to promise you, it's the last time you're ever going to do it. Because we're going to keep updating your CV for you and the data will keep on being brought in. This is how your page will look. This is Linda Harris. She's fake, completely fake. And this is an AI generated picture as well. I love that, right? AI generated picture. She has 1 testimonial, which is me. 15 years experience, available in 2 weeks. She's a citizen, she's located in Wellington, and she likes a mixed style. Her preferred rate is $130. She's an About Me page, education, and experience. Very similar to a CV, right? So we have to make it human-centric, right? We have to make it human-centric. Thanks, Sergey. And what we did here is we go, right, how do we create a human-centric CV, but actually we are not going to use a CV. We can use the data points in CV. Now, when you take a contract through Necta, it'll update automatically, so it'll keep on updating. No more updating your CVs, which is quite good. But this is the most important bit here, the settings page. The settings page is the most important. A bit of a lag there. Your profile, your phone number, your town, your skill sets, your minimum hourly rate. I will not get out of bed unless I get $100 an hour. I prefer 130 though. Okay? Your policy, office, mixed, work from home, what do you want? And if you're mixed, what's your traveling radius? I get so fed up in Wanganui being told that I can't work in Wellington or I can't work in Auckland. I like 500, I put 500K. So I just get a plane or I just drive. I'm happy. That's my choice. You may say, I don't want to work more than 5 kilometers away. And that's my choice. To do a radius on that for you. More importantly, availability date. So put a specific date, you end your contract. And the moment you're ready for a new contract, just say 2 weeks notice. And you will start appearing on people's searches. Testimonial, obviously this is me. We don't ask for testimonials until you press the button. Once you press the button, we get it and we record it for life. There's transparency in this, right? You need to say which company it was from, right? And that person, Michael Law, has now signed a contract to state that he was this title in this company at the time of your engagement. Now, it happens both sides, everyone. I'm sorry. Fake references are everywhere and it's not cool. Okay? So we need to get real references, real testimonials coming through the door. And we're going to do the same for employers as well. Just so you know, doing the same for employers. There's going to be no hidden messages. If you see an employer that has a 3-star rating, you may not accept it. Simple as that. We have put in permanent work for you here in case you want it. Okay, so there is the idea of I can have permanent work or fixed term work, and those rates are going to be there for you. You know, in case somebody searches for it, up to you. You can stop us annoying you with emails, unless you download the app. If you download the app, then you don't need the emails, but if you haven't got downloaded the app, please put emails on, or you won't know when someone... I'm messaging people on LinkedIn now saying, please look at your app, because they turn it off. Citizenship, MOJ check, identification check, upload CV. This completely redoes your profile. Be very careful. When you can sign up, you can do your CV or you can do LinkedIn. It's up to you. Messages. We've got a pretty slow message service at the moment. We're going to completely revamp it because it's we're using a third party and don't like it. Whenever you message someone, you can see what the role is about. And that I love, right? So when you're in LinkedIn, you can't remember who you're talking to. We've made it so that you can actually see what the role was about. This is an engineering role. I don't know why I'm getting paid $190 an hour, but I am. Thanks, Natalia. And Natalia's like, hey, Linda, you there with me? Yeah, sure, I totally am. So we brought that in there. But this is where the core bit comes in, right? Permission-based recruitment. If a recruiter uses Necta and sends you a message, you can say no. And it's as simple as that. No more getting offers like 10 agencies ringing you on one job. The first one comes in, you accept it, you won't get it again. Simple as that. Okay. Now, this is all Tinder based. So offer to connect, you can sort of like swipe right and left, which is it's pretty cool. So on your phone, it's very easy to do. But you can progress or decline the offer to connect. The offer to connect is a recruiter or a hiring manager says to you, hey, Linda, fancy chatting. And you go, crop tied. Oh, that's a cool company. They're a agricultural tech company. I want to talk to them. Progress. Or you may go, actually, as a government agency or a gambling organization, you go, no, decline. And they never see your full profile. They never see your name. They never see your information. They only see your business card. Okay, that's very important. Once you've chatted and you want to interview, you can progress an interview or you can decline an interview. And this will put it into your calendar for you automatically so you can have everything just done perfectly. Okay, so I find that really helpful when I'm setting up interviews, and recruiters, you must find this quite helpful as well because we've got the requirement from you. You put in, I want to interview somebody, it sends interviews requests to both people. .ics, so you can basically put it on your calendar. Much easier. We do remote and live interviews, so you can put an address or a remote link. And the contractual offer is pretty cool, actually. So I can download the offer. And I can see the offer from Natalia. And I can see all the details I need to have. Now, this is a Necta offer. So if you're working for a recruiter, they'll send you their own one. This is if Necta was to hire you directly. All the information's there. It's all highlighted to ensure you know what it is, and it's automatically generated, and you can trust it works. A recruiter may use a Necta contract if they want to use us for their payroll, but most likely not. They're their own payroll. I assume most recruiters who want to use Necta use it for finding purposes, not for engagement purposes. But yeah, pretty cool contract. If you sign it, let's do Linda. You can literally, oh, that's terrible, Michael. It timestamps it, it's legal, it's pending, everything else, you submit it. You can now add your tax information, which makes life much easier. How do you want to get paid? All this stuff here allows you to get paid. Your bank account details, home office use for later on. I'll get to that later. Although we'll run out of time for that, so maybe if anyone wants to know about that, we'll carry on. And we'll withhold tax information you want, etc. Right? So let's cancel out that back. But yeah, you set the contract offer. Once it's accepted, of course, if you're from going from Necta, so let's say a hiring manager hires you from Necta, you'll be able to do a timesheet. And it's as simple as this. You'll choose your client, click, put your hours in, choose your date, which is only on Fridays, and hit submit. That's it. No 9 till 4 lunch break. There's spending 10 minutes to do it. Total hours, total week, hit enter. And we've done the research. Nobody cares about all these individual little, how much breaks did you have? How much this did you have? No, they only care about the amount you spent per week. Is it in budget? Is it appropriate, etc. So we have that for you. And yeah, that's basically how Necta works. We've automated the applying process through machine learning algorithms and AI automation. The employer will just swipe right on you, you swipe right on them, you interview, you get a contract, and then you enjoy your contract. And that's Necta. And thanks, Paul. If you want more features, of course, we have a free accounting software that we're currently building. So just to let you know. Just very simple for independent contractors. Just here's your dashboard, yearly income, yearly expenses, money owned, money owing, GST amount you're going to owe the tax man. Projected earnings calculated by again, a machine learning algorithm just to see how much money you possibly could earn over the year. Invoices, automatic invoices from us if you're using Necta as a platform. Manual invoices that you can send to clients yourself and then get paid. Expenses that you can input. We are implementing uploading your CSV files so that you can just do it automatically. And we're doing a printing service. So basically get your profit and loss, print your GST report off so you can just fill it straight in yourself. Your IR3, because I'm an individual, I get an IR3. If you're a company, you get IR4, and you just press export, download, and it will show you what it recommends you put in. Not what you should put in. Get an accountant if you're ever worried, but we're trying to simplify it for you. Thanks, Odette. And that's how we're solving the problem, right? So I find CVs quite appalling. I want to get rid of them. So we got rid of them that way. And I'll just quickly show you, for those who are interested, the employer side of things. I have extra functionality because I'm an Necta Assist person, so I can find things quicker, only because I need to for testing reasons. But long story short, we have a senior business analyst position. We hit find. I think this one's almost done, so it'll only show a fake account. It's going through all the systems and bringing back the most appropriate person first. And because I've declined everybody, I think it brings back one person. But as you can see, it gives us a business card. Now, this person here has put their name in, so we'll quickly stop putting your names in things. They wouldn't see your name, wouldn't see your gender, wouldn't see your ethnicity, etc. They say yes on you, you say yes on them. And that's basically it, right? So you can see recruiters will love this, they can find you easily. You'll love it because you don't have duplication. Hiring managers love it because They don't have to use Seek anymore. I think everyone has given some good feedback so far, but we would love more of your feedback. We would love to know. Thank you, Chris. Simplicity is our main value here. It's to completely simplify contracting from end to end. Obviously, they can do the timesheets and billing and dashboard. Dashboard about managing their contractors. So I have none here at the moment, as you can see. Yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it. We're live. And that's how we're solving our problems. Any questions? I know we're 40 seconds behind, so I'll just drink coffee while I wait for your questions.